Oh, boy. Oh, there I am. Okay. Good evening, everybody. This is Mike Tedesco of Wrestleview.com.
And Victoria Tedesco.
Whoa. Okay. I think everything's working much better than it did last week. We had major internet issues, which sucked, but that's okay. You know, it's probably best that I didn't just go into a nuclear meltdown over last week's Legend show, which, of course, the good people that watch WWE rewarded WWE for. It's like, they are so easy, the people that watch the show. Oh, we're going to bring in a legend. We promise we're going to use him right this time. We promise you're going to feel like it's the old days again. It's like, what was the point of Legends Night last week? What's the point of anything that's going on right now?
Not much. It really was not much of a point last week.
Other
I
than
don't really, I mean, I don't
Goldberg
know.
over.
I don't know what we would have talked about last week. Really?
I don't know.
Not a whole lot.
There's not a whole lot there. Not a whole lot there. Boy. Anyway, before we get into all that craziness, let's say hello to everybody tonight in the chat room, because we haven't had a chance to say hello.
We haven't
really had a chance to say
hello
and happy New Year to our dear friends.
We said hello last week, but nobody heard us, so it really doesn't matter.
Well, they heard us say like yeah, exactly. That's exactly how it sounded when I listened to the playback of the 3.5 seconds that we were up. That's what I heard. All right, so we got a lively crowd here tonight. They seem to think that I'm going to just lose my mind over this show.
Okay, you can lose your mind.
What makes them think that I would?
You can lose your mind, but just don't do it loudly.
I'll try not. We need to soundproof the baby's room. There's no doubt about it. All right, so if you're watching us and you see just a couple little updates to the screen and stuff like that, it's because I sat down with my dear friend Nafis Sadat over this past week to make a few changes to the show's output and stuff like that. I got some new internet equipment also that will hopefully prevent us from dying again, which honestly we haven't really had bad internet for like a long time. So it just so happened that was of course the first show of the new year, but. And it's like my immediate thought was like, oh great, 2021 is going to suck, and I like literally thought like, it's just a podcast, big deal. Honestly, and then fucking Wednesday, the country just melts down and everything's going to shit. It's like 2021 is actually somehow already just 11 days in worse than 2020.
Here's my thing on New Year's.
How is that possible?
Here's my thing about New Year's. Okay, I've never weighed heavily on like the year or like, oh, this is a really good year, or like this was a really bad year, or this is like, whatever. I've always hated New Year's. For the first 15 years of my life, I always had the stomach bug, and then like magically when I was 16, like it didn't happen for a while, but then it did happen like kind of sporadically throughout the years where I was like sick or whatever. But I don't think of it like as, 2020. Well, yes, 2020 was an exceptionally bad year just because of everything that transpired. But we're just getting like remnants of 2020. Like things weren't just going to magically be like, oh yeah, 2021 is going to be really good. And
nobody actually
and
thought.
Well, no, there's people like that.
Well, what they thought like, like the ball would count it would drop and like a magic fairy would just come out and just wipe it all away.
Rainbows and everything. This is all like,
it's not how it works.
Remnants of just 20.
It's not how it works. That is not how it works. I'm here to tell you that right now. All right. Anyway, we said we were going to say hello to everybody, so can we do that, please?
Yeah, we could say hello.
Let's say hello.
Start it.
Let's say number one to our dear friend Nafis Sadat.
Thank you, Nafis, by the way, for helping Mike out. That was so nice of you.
Quentin Walters goes, "Welcome to 2020 plus one."
That's it. There you go. See, you should hashtag that.
It's 2020 with one finger up your ass. That's it. Daniel Shell, FBI is fearful there may be more riots to come on the 20th. Oh boy. Oh yes. You thought this was over? Andrew Elder, think about the name 2021. 2021 with a W. Mm-hmm. It sure did. Mm-hmm. It's undefeated. Brian saying, don't worry, the season premiere of 2021 hasn't happened yet. We got CJ Bowman in the chat room tonight, our dear friend CJ, who CJ will... I think of CJ as like a silver linings guy. He'll try to find Mike, he's always good about like bringing me back a little bit. He's always says oh Mike, maybe this is why it's happening. Maybe think about it this way. And sometimes he's right. Sometimes if I do think about it a different way, it kind of changes it for me a little bit. But CJ is he's out on this show. He is out on Raw right now. Kit Dyson here in the chat room tonight. Any rant will do, he says. We got Andrew Elder, our buddy in the chat room tonight. He's concerned he's going to make the list.
Why?
He's not a big fan of The Miz right now. Just like I'm not.
Oh.
We got Michael Jewell in the chat room. Michael, how are you, sir? Oh, sweet Lou. Lewis Veraldi in the chat room. Mashoon Walls. When is the rant on Oldberg? Oh, it's coming. Trust me.
It's coming.
It's coming. Jorge Oliva, welcome. Olaf Amelia Tedesco already slapped a like. Now let the ranting begin. Release the fury, Mike. Release. Gosh. We got Uncle Billy in the chat room, Billy Hafner. And if I missed any, I'm sure I missed somebody.
I'm sure you missed someone.
If I missed somebody,
just shout it, Mike.
I'll just make sure I scream your name out as soon as I see it.
Not scream, but yes.
Scream. All right, we have to start off this show. Yes, please subscribe and like our show, please. If you're in the chat room, we have a couple people in the chat room. Give us a like. All right. We have to start the show off, obviously, with the biggest news stories for wrestling in 2021 so far, which is the announcement that today the WWE Champion Drew McIntyre has tested positive for COVID-19. The dreaded COVID-19. Drew McIntyre has it. Obviously, it's a big deal. He's the face of the show, but also this is a little break in the direction for WWE, where normally when a COVID outbreak happens, I think they've had about I think this is their fourth one. I think actually, honest to God, the real number.
No, it's
I think
the
this
real
is
number
four.
But
But who knows? Who knows? That's four that we know about. That's four.
True.
Now, beforehand, it's always been deny. We test everybody who comes into the center gets tested and and yes somebody did remember in March it was somebody did test positive, but they weren't in contact with anybody. It's really what happened to the Miz at WrestleMania?
I think Miz definitely had
what happened
COVID.
to Caleb Braxton,
and he was just mysteriously away from Maurice and the kids.
Oh yeah. What happened to poor Daniel Bryan? Was away for a long time too. It's and his wife was pregnant. They haven't been forthright with releasing names, and all of a sudden today, plastered all over the site, Drew McIntyre. Mm-hmm. Obviously, there was a few other people missing from tonight's show, and there is talks of an outbreak going on right now. Hey, we got Kobe Talks tonight here. Hey.
Hello.
But there is talk of another outbreak going on. I mean, just from the people that I saw that weren't on the show, Charlie Caruso was replaced by Caleb Braxton, who's a 2 or 3 time COVID-19 survivor already.
I mean, that's insane to me.
Kayla's really got to consider getting a better face mask. If she's wearing a face mask, she's got to consider a better one. And to have COVID more than once, that's pretty wild.
It is pretty crazy.
That is pretty.
But it does happen. People don't say it doesn't happen.
Oh, it does.
There's just people out there who are like, I think that's the 5th person who's had COVID in this entire nation. I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
When people were like, you're the 5th person in the entire nation who's gotten COVID twice. I'm like, excuse me? I heard people say that.
I believe it.
And I got really scared.
I believe it.
You can get COVID more than once. BT dubs.
Yes.
By the way.
We know. We know.
Maybe not everybody knows. Just saying.
Now they know. And it's not just WWE either.
Of course it's not just WWE.
AEW's having something going on with them right now. We don't know any names yet, but AEW has been a little more forthright with their names, or at least the people, that released them, like Lance Archer had it. Ben Carter, when he was with them, who is now with WWE on NXT UK, which I think does just as many views as AEW Dark does, which is where he was wrestling on anyway. But I guess he's working for WWE. Dream come true. I don't know how anybody can dream about going to WWE in this environment.
Exactly.
In the environment where you are set up
for sure
to only fail. You are only set up to fail in WWE. Hardly anybody comes into this company and has any market
Yeah.
success.
Mm-hmm. No, it's true.
It's wild. It's like
It's
these people that
crazy.
like fall over their tongues like in these interviews. Like, oh, it's my dream to work here. Really? Seems like a fucking nightmare
Not right
now.
now.
It seems like a
Well,
fucking nightmare. Look at poor Keith Lee. He's like just totally just a shell of his former self.
My
And he's only been up
dream-
for a couple months.
My dream would be, if I were to work in any variation of the company, would be with NXT
Well, you'd want
or
to work
SmackDown.
Well, you'd want to. Yeah, SmackDown's the place you want to be.
Yeah.
SmackDown is absolutely the place
I
you
would
want to be.
definitely. It's hard to believe that it's the same company.
Yeah.
It genuinely, honestly feels like that there's two separate companies that go on when it comes to SmackDown and then when it comes to Raw. It's just weird.
I said that tonight. That it's like I just cannot believe that after watching this show tonight that this is the same company that produces SmackDown.
Yeah.
Which is
It's
so
crazy. It
damn
really is.
good.
It's so weird to me.
It's such a good show.
It is. It's enjoyable.
like,
and even if
where
like
did this
their-
thing come from?
Even their off shows, like if a SmackDown has an off show, it's not a bad show. It's just like, okay, maybe it wasn't the best show in the
Yeah.
world tonight, but it's not like you don't have to sit there and rip it apart. And yes, that 1 hour less is definitely says something to that as well, but it really is. It's just so much better show. It's so
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
We
So
looked up the roster to see who was currently.
yeah, so the people that were definitely conspicuous by their
Mm-hmm.
absence tonight. You know, I know that they can't squeeze R-Truth in every show, but like I could have just used a little comic relief from R-Truth
Yeah.
tonight. It was such a slog, this fucking show. Like I was like begging for a 24/7 title
Yeah, just well,
segment
yeah,
just
kind
for
of-
one little stupid thing. Conspicuous by their absence was Angel Garza. Asuka
Mm-hmm.
was not there tonight. Kofi Kingston, obviously, they claim he has a broken jaw from the Hurt Business, but I don't like how he had a full talking segment with Miz and Morrison last week, and then a match with Miz and Morrison.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Somebody said something
There's
like
something going
Kofi
on.
has something on his Instagram that he's stuck in Texas with his family after a freak snowstorm or something like that. I don't know how. Well, like, why would you say he has a broken jaw and then he comes back like the next week? It's like a broken jaw. You're like writing him off for a little while.
Well, either if even if they're suspect, right? It could not be where they actually have it, but they have to quarantine.
Yeah.
And they just don't want to talk about it. Obviously, like
Right.
they're not going to mention like all these individuals if and they did or were exposed, right?
Right.
Which is definitely most likely. They're not going to outright say like these individuals were exposed. And,
Yeah.
because we very well might see some of these people next week.
Right.
No.
No Cedric and Shelton Benjamin
No,
tonight.
nope.
So the Hurt Business was mostly out.
No.
We obviously did I mention Charlie Caruso already?
Yeah, because they mentioned with Kayla Braxton replacing her, and then
Oh God.
she got it like 3 times.
Just skimming through this roster. But what the hell happened to Lana after that whole entire fucking thing? It built up to them getting a tag title match, and then she got injured and has been gone ever since.
I don't know.
I'm just she just
I
came
don't know.
across on
Maybe
the
she's,
roster
like, maybe
page.
she's just not coming back. Who knows?
I guess. And who else? Let's see.
You said R-Truth already.
I
You're
said
just looking
R-Truth
through.
already,
He's
yeah.
scrolling through everybody, by the way. Like,
I'm
he's
scrolling
the
through to see
roster
who else wasn't
just to
on the
see
show
who
tonight.
else
Now
wasn't on the
that looks
show.
like it's about it, but I mean that's a significant
that's a
portion of the show.
listen, it's enough to
significant.
for them not to be there. They usually and those individuals are usually there. It's not like, oh yeah, that's so and so is like not
Right.
always on, so like it's weird. But yeah, like Asuka, like Angel Garza, yeah, that's definitely
Right.
weird for sure. I think I know you're going to talk about this in a little bit
Oh, yeah.
when it comes to Drew McIntyre, but I do. It's weird that they acknowledged it, and I guess because
Well, it's like if he's going to disappear for a little while,
Yeah.
and obviously, I think the Goldberg match, which now Drew McIntyre said that he's asymptomatic right now.
now, yeah,
The Rumble's on the 31st, so that would be over 2 weeks. That's 3 weeks. I guess you could say it's 3 Sundays from this
Now,
Sunday
I
or
didn't get
whatever.
a chance to read much reports on it. Did he test positive today? Like, or is it yesterday?
I'm assuming he tested positive today
Got
because
it.
they
Okay.
released that right away, and it just feels like as I was watching the show, it's like you can literally tell that they're writing the show
scrambling
as
to,
it
yeah,
goes,
yeah.
as it goes.
Mhm.
We got Philly sport fan here tonight. Philly sport fan, how are you?
Hello.
All right. So CJ's also asking if we've gotten our vaccines yet. We are not in the list yet.
No, so we
to get a
had
vaccine.
so our register, like we can register for it, but we're in the 1B category, and they have not. They're still in the 1A currently.
Yeah.
So we're not up for it yet, but as soon as we're up for it, we're gonna go. We registered for it, at our doctor's office. We'll see what happens. I'm hoping because they roughly when it was presented that we were in 1B, it was like January, but I personally think it might be February at this point, just because of the rollout.
I think it could be March.
Yeah, like even with the medical professionals, I know they're backed up. They're
yeah.
they're in our area especially. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens, but we're staying hopeful.
Yeah.
So McIntyre has COVID. A couple other people have COVID that they're not talking about. Potentially have COVID. I shouldn't say that they have it.
Yeah, no, exactly.
But it's potential that they have
or
COVID.
Exposure. Yeah. Exactly.
No Angel Garza, who he's not giving out roses tonight.
Mm-hmm.
He got scared by the boogeyman. Maybe that gave him COVID. So whenever something happens to a main eventer in WWE, usually they just hot shot a whole bunch of stuff in one night just to try to replace that person.
Missing, yeah.
And they also know that like when something happens, people will tune in to see what they're going to do. So they try to hot shot a bunch of stuff also to try to get you to come back next week.
Exactly.
Nothing on this fucking show would make me want to, if I wasn't already getting paid to recap it, would make me want to come back and recap it again next week or watch it.
I can genuinely say this too, just because I know you, obviously, and everybody else here knows you.
You do know me, yes.
But everybody else here knows you too.
Yes.
If it weren't for this podcast,
honest to
and
God,
if it weren't for your recapping, you would definitely have given up on WWE and wrestling altogether.
Long gone.
It would have been
gone.
all these years of investing your time and your energy into this product, and you would just be
they don't give a fuck about me.
Bleh.
They don't give a fuck about me. I don't give a fuck about them.
They don't. Well, no, of course they don't. They definitely don't care about the loyal fans, because we're still waiting on the perks of having the WWE network that they said, oh yeah, get the network, our loyal fans or whatever, but they haven't. But anywho, yeah, no, they try to like make it like, oh yeah, like let's do something exciting and
let's do something exciting,
like and adventurous and everything for to replace what's going on with Drew McIntyre. And
it's gonna be great. Here's a great idea. Hey Hunter, hey Paul Levesque, you're 51 years old. Why don't you throw on the old leather jacket and go out there tonight, and we'll do the old bait and switch. How about that? We're gonna send you out there because we don't have anybody on our roster that we could just hot shot regularly to get people interested, because no one's fucking interested in our characters.
So you know what's really scary?
So let's bring back another person from the past. Now we have Goldberg. Now we're going to have Triple H. By the way, Triple H just disappeared into thin air. No one gave a shit. Like, what the fuck?
So you know what's scary too about like Drew McIntyre?
Everything.
Of course, everything. But Drew McIntyre having tested positive, right? Like, all those legends were back last week.
Well, yeah.
Like, I get nervous for like those individuals. You know what I mean? And again, I don't know exactly who, like, where or when he got it from. Maybe it wasn't somebody.
No, I don't think it was. But, I don't think he had it last week. I think he. I think he probably just got it within the last few days.
I'm just saying though, it's scary to think that like.
Well, of course.
They're a week apart from each other. You had all these legends here, and he just tested positive.
Yeah.
Within the past few days.
Well, it was important that they had Keith Lee there, because Keith Lee did wrestle Roman Reigns last week. So there you go. That's definitely important. But so they march Triple H out there. They have the fake crowd chants, which is like, oh god, that's so cheesy. But like the always a good thing about Triple H is he's not because of his position, he can make fun of the absurdity of this entire fucking thing of having people fake chanting his name, and he's like, I still got it, see? So like, he's always good for that. He's always good for a cute little like, hey, wink wink, like, nudge nudge.
Yeah.
Send Randy Orton out there. They get face to face. I feel like they've done this already. Like I feel like they had a feud where Triple H was mad about disrespecting legends or something like that.
They
and like
have.
he paved the way. You know, maybe it was the basis of Triple H's feud with Batista. Maybe it wasn't Randy Orton, but it was like the one with Batista.
Right, but he's done this before.
He's done this. The point is, this was like there was absolutely no steam behind this. You could tell that they just got told about this around 3:00. Maybe not. Maybe they told them about it at 5 because Triple H wasn't advertised until like 5 or 6 o'clock. You know, obviously they were scrambling to figure out what the hell they were going to do. There just didn't seem to be any passion in like literally anything they talked about, anything they said. You know, Triple H trying to like muster up the intensity to accept the fight for later in the show. It felt so fucking forced, and it just felt like wrestling. Like I felt like I watched like a caricature of what a wrestling show is, or like an SNL spoof of like, this is wrestling. It's like,
yeah. No, I get that. I'm on the same page as you as far as everything you're saying right now. This
roster is so bad that they couldn't even put together like a show that had like, you know, anything even remotely exciting. It was just like, well, I mean, granted, they have been hobbled by the people that were missing with broken jaws and just weren't there tonight. You know, this COVID thing is definitely going to impact them in some, you know, big way. But they couldn't even like find like the best thing that they could do was like, oh, this Symphony from Destruction match was really good a couple weeks ago, so let's just do Jeff Hardy versus Elias. But we can't just do Jeff Hardy versus Elias because an extended match with them would be horrible. So let's make it first Jeff Hardy versus Jackson Riker, Gunner from fucking TNA. That's a great idea. That's a great idea. We're going to stretch out the time by putting Jeff Hardy in the ring with somebody who's even worse than Elias.
They don't have a...
They don't have a clue.
No,
they don't have a clue. They don't know what... They can't write wrestling anymore.
They don't have
They don't know how... For Raw only, they don't know how to write a wrestling show. They don't know. They have no clue.
But where's...
Bankrupt. Creatively bankrupt. Horrible.
I said, okay.
Jackson Riker? Jeff Hardy? Who the fuck? What?
They really do. They don't have the tiers that they used to. Like your main eventers.
There's tiers. It's my tiers. I'm fucking watching this shit.
God. It's a Bruin,
say something
guys.
stupid. I'm going to get a drink.
It's a Bruin, guys. No, I'm just saying they don't have, you know, whoa. I mean...
Well,
really?
I told you to move the goddamn table.
He told me that my butt's big. Like, really?
Where's my crotch, by the way? Are you on the screen?
I'm on the screen. You jerk. Jeez. You know, with the main eventers, like jobbers and all that, like you have like your normal tiers in wrestling, but I feel like they don't even have, right now they don't have any, everybody's just kind of like lumped all together, and then you have like your top guys. But the point I'm trying to make with that statement is that they don't even have like go-tos of like, okay, yes, Drew McIntyre's not here tonight, Asuka's not going to be here, Angel Garza's not going to be here, so they're kind of level of, they really have to scramble. And not even just because necessarily COVID or not, you know what I mean, but like if somebody genuinely is not there and then this is like the roster they're just kind of left with, they're really kind of screwed at that point, you know? So it's just, they're really in a bind. But a lot of it has to do definitely with COVID. Like, I'm sure they were not expecting, obviously, to have Drew McIntyre not be able to be on the show tonight.
You think?
But at the same time, though, Drew McIntyre or not, maybe the show would have been like slightly better than what it was. Not astronomically better. Like you would have had like a segment here and there that would have been like better because it's Drew McIntyre and he's one that you're invested in, you're interested in, and you want to like listen to, right? If you are watching the show. But when somebody like that's not there, Asuka's not there, Angel Garza's not there, it's even if they were there tonight,
This show still would have sucked.
Right.
So they have no
like
ideas.
Even Legends.
They have
last
no
week.
clue.
Even Legends last week. We didn't talk about Legends last week.
So just heading back a little bit. They bring in Legends.
But the show still sucked last week.
Because they had no idea what to do with the Legends, and they advertised this for 2 weeks. It's like you couldn't have thought of anything better than just Tatanka just extending. Not that Tatanka is like anything that anybody fucking wants to see anyway. You know, I went to an indie show once and he was signing autographs, and it's like I went to his table because I felt bad and gave him $10. I didn't even want to take a picture with him, but Jesus Christ, like,
oh my gosh, I remember that.
Like, yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I do remember that now.
But
we
like,
didn't talk about it last week, so I.
But like, we
that.
couldn't have utilized them in any better way than like, you know, like we bring them in. It just felt so cheap. It felt like just such a ruse and a totally wasted opportunity. They like. Most of the time, they either bring in the Legends and totally embarrass them. Like you know, I'm having flashbacks to Jerry Lawler ripping off Mad Dog Vachon's prosthetic leg and beating him with it. Like, that was a thing. It was a thing. It happened.
I believe you.
It happened. I think about Randy Orton being in Kansas City, Missouri, and walking to the front row and going up to Harley Race and spitting in his face. Like, just... I don't even think I honestly think from Harley's reaction that he didn't know it was coming. So they bring in people and humiliate them.
Yeah.
Or to get somebody over, or they beat them to smithereens.
Right.
Make them look like they were a nothing, never was.
Yeah.
Or they just put them in a goofy segment that helps nobody. Or
you don't even know that they're legends. Like Alicia Fox and Mickie James, legends now.
Like Tori Wilson, like they make it clear, like the Legends don't watch the show. They're like, oh, who are you?
They really don't know who these people are.
Oh, the best. Oh my God, the best of all time was, okay, so that stupid Tori Wilson segment with where she's like, oh, okay, Angel Garza, like, you don't want to give me that rose. Cardi B is down the hallway, and I forget who else she said, but she goes, Cardi B is down the hall, and so people start actually tagging Cardi B in the clip of this where it winds up being the boogeyman.
Oh.
And all night she's like, why the fuck are these wrestling fans tagging me on Twitter? And then she goes, oh my God, WWE, I haven't watched that show in years. Oh, I remember Melina when she was with those two guys. I was like, it was like she totally killed them. It was so embarrassing, but they they got their little bit of publicity because she mentioned their name. They had a story on WWE.com the very next day. It's like, oh my God.
Well, then it kind of worked.
It's so bad. But still, like, so they promote, they try to trick everybody. You know, everything's fine. We're going to give you 51-year-old Triple H versus 40. How the fuck old is Randy Orton? 44 years old?
I don't know. I don't know anybody's age. I'm like the worst at that stuff.
He's 40 years old. I aged him a little too much. He'll be 41 this year, though. So
he's still not 44.
He's still not going to be 44. No, certainly not. But I mean, Jesus Christ, it's like so you felt like a dick. You had to feel like a dickhead after watching Legends Night last week, and they didn't use any Legends. They sent Goldberg out there for like a horrible fucking promo and like a match that nobody wants to see. You know, like we really need to have 54-year-old Bill Goldberg versus Drew McIntyre.
No.
Where Drew McIntyre actually has a legitimately huge chance of losing the WWE title that he's had for the most part since WrestleMania, save for a 3-week stint where Randy Orton had it, where it was like, why did they even give Randy Orton the title at Hell in a Cell? Made no sense.
I don't know.
They should have given him the title at SummerSlam, so at least there was like a little chase. There was nothing. It made no sense. Well, we got to get the title off of Randy Orton so he can burn the Fiend in the ring. That's a much better idea than Randy Orton's title shot. Anyway, fucking Drew McIntyre, who they've been building up all year, is going to just eat a bunch of spears and probably wind up losing to 54-year-old fuck Goldberg, who has 2 matches per year. So, you know, this is his one match. And, you know, the next match, he's going to drop it to whoever. It's like, and who's going to be helped from that?
Nobody
Who?
helps. And
who was helped in Goldberg's last 2-match stint?
Nobody.
Not The Fiend, and not Braun Strowman.
No.
And I think if Roman Reigns didn't back out of WrestleMania, I don't think it would have helped Roman that much.
No,
it was just not going to be good. Every time they put Goldberg out there, it's
and especially
been a near disaster.
And especially somebody
That's
like,
what a slap in the face to every fucking schmuck that watches this stupid fucking show and puts their time and effort into into slogging through 3 hours. You know how many fucking morons I have on Twitter telling me, oh, actually, Mike, it's a really good show. Oh, and the Fiend stuff, you're so hard on the Fiend. Go scratch. You fucking think the Fiend is you think this is good. You think this is good television. You think this is good with fucking Goldberg marching in there? Oh, well, it's going to get the old fans back. Yeah, how you get the old fans back? You give them a fucking character that they can get into and they can relate to. You give them the legends. Fine. Okay, that works for a week. Guaranteed this show is not even close. Not even close. Maybe because of the Drew McIntyre COVID thing. Maybe people will tune in just as a curiosity factor. I bet you hour 3 tanks. I'll stake my reputation on that. But next week, there's not going to be much on there unless they, pull another rabbit out of the hat. Oh, Ric Flair's going to be there again doing some stupid shit. The reason that these people aren't coming back is because there's nothing to fucking invest in. And anytime that they even try to invest in something, they just take it away from them. It's a disaster. It's a fucking disaster. And you send Goldberg in to fucking wrestle at the Royal Rumble because you had no ideas. You had that was it. That was it. You had all fucking year to build somebody up, and they give you Goldberg. You got Bobby Lashley. You got Bobby Lashley just sitting there going undefeated. What? I think Sheamus and Drew McIntyre is the WrestleMania match. I think it's going to be fucking awesome. I think that's going to be great. But what are they doing with Bobby Lashley? What Lashley versus Reigns, Spear versus Spear at WrestleMania? Maybe like that would be the reason why I would think that Bobby Lashley would win the Rumble. But it's anybody. Goldberg is the best idea. Fuck off. That's all I gotta say.
Oh, that was a mic rant, everyone.
Jesus.
I don't think it's gonna be your first one though of the evening.
Well, wait till I get to that stupid Ric Flair shit.
Oh, okay. I think it's up next, isn't it? Isn't it slowly making its
way? I got to take a breath for a second. What do you think of this Goldberg shit? What do you think about
how
about the bait and switch? Okay. How about the fucking bait and switch with here you go, you stupid fucks. Here comes Triple H versus Randy Orton. Oh, stay tuned. It's going to be great. We're going to build this up all night. We're going to give you 3 minutes of it. Randy Orton's going to be busted open legitimately from his cheek. And then we're going to show you some pre-taped garbage shit where Randy Orton doesn't have a cut anymore, which just fucking further kills this show. And Alexa Bliss is going to come back and throw a fireball because we have to keep doing the fucking fire thing. We have to keep the stupid fucking Fiend thing going. Fuck off. Go on. What do you want to say?
Can I talk
fucking
now?
Ridiculous. Chris Algie, hello. Yes, SmackDown's better. We know.
Oh my god.
Grash is here. Hi, Grash.
Okay.
Jerome's here.
Dear
he
Lord.
wants to know if you checked my meds. No. Actually, I forgot to take them.
Well, no, I'm not a fan of Goldberg coming in and having these feuds. And the reason why mostly being the fact that they don't need them.
Feuds. He has 2 matches per year. He can only have 1 feud.
Can I speak?
Go ahead. I'm
rant?
talking with this ridiculous Goldberg deal.
I know, but I don't think that,
Please.
Honestly. I'm already talking, you idiot.
I didn't know. Usually you drag
you're
it on.
So spinning that you're so you just don't even know what the hell's happening.
The color
right now.
drained from my face.
God, it really did actually. I was gonna say check your heart rate because I'm a little concerned.
But
yeah, with Goldberg, people like Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre, they don't need any type of legend to come in and to help, make the storyline interesting or engaging by any means. Drew McIntyre, despite the circumstances of everything, is doing very much fine on his own. And considering these circumstances. I would like him to see him be a champion for a lot longer. I don't want him to friggin', and again, we don't know for sure. We can't say that's happening for sure. But like you said, you know, being that he always has, like, Goldberg always has like 2 matches per year, it's likely that, yeah, he'll get the title, and then that'll be the end of Drew McIntyre for a little while. But it's like, for what reason? Like, what purpose does that serve? You know, and we can't be relying on the legends to be, you know, catapulting these individuals, especially when they don't need that support. Drew McIntyre should be able to see this thing out. You know, especially somebody like him, I would love, you know, to kind of go back to that time too, where you have like a champion and you have them for like not just a year, 2 years, 3 years. You know what I mean? Like, let's give, especially, and again, I sound like a broken record, but I really feel like Drew McIntyre did get screwed over a little bit with this whole COVID thing. Like, he didn't get that, like, big WrestleMania moment.
Yes.
He didn't get that, like...
This is true.
He didn't get all those big pay-per-views as champion as he should. And, you know, he worked hard for it. He came back, really redeemed himself in this company. You know, completely flipped from what he was initially as the chosen one and
3-man
3MB.
band.
Like, you know, come on. Like, he really, like...
Well, this is how they this is how they always reward people.
But
This is how they always reward people who work all year and they work really hard.
right,
They just give their spot to a legend.
Yeah, and
because we can't sell our shows with
really,
our talent.
But this
because we've overexposed them.
You know what though? But that's not even that's actually not a fair statement to make in terms of Drew McIntyre. If you want to make that, if you want to make that argument for somebody else in the company, that's fine. I'm not doing this at you. I'm just doing it. I talk with my hands. You know this, and I happen to be right next to you. Okay. So get over yourself.
Okay.
But anywho, if you did this with anybody else, it's like, okay, fine. You could, if you did this with somebody like, I'm not going to say like Elias, or you're doing it somebody who's like Ricochet, who I can't stand.
Oh, yeah, he wasn't on the show tonight.
But
well, that's not a. He's so boring.
That wasn't a lot.
He's so boring that wasn't a fucking
lot.
lie. If he actually, if Ricochet wound up on this show, fuck this show.
You know what? No, you know what Ricochet is going to wind up happening? He's going to wind up I'm having a match with Goldberg randomly and be like, why not me? But that, anyways, whatever. But if you had a legend paired up with somebody who really actually like needed that in order to like build up their character, Drew McIntyre is one of the only ones who is drawing the fans in. Like, he's one of the only ones per week where you're like, oh, Drew McIntyre's on? Yeah, I want to watch his segment. Okay? So what I'm trying to say is that he doesn't need Goldberg. He doesn't. If you want to utilize a legend, utilize somebody else. Like, go have somebody else. But again, like, I can't personally say like I know these individuals, like as far as these legends, but like, it's obviously an ego thing too. He doesn't want to just be matched up with somebody like Ricochet or Elias.
Well,
he's
also
going to come back. He wants to be with somebody who's going to be, you know, who you're going to want to watch.
It's not even that. It's not even that. Well, number one, you like, you know, the one thing that they did on Legends Night was, you know, a lot of people got humiliated on that show, but Hulk Hogan, say what you want about that fucking guy. He knows how to play politics, and he will not sign off on anything where he's made to look like a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
He just won't do it.
No.
He just won't do it. Whereas Tatanka will... I don't even think Tatanka's Native American.
I don't know. I think
that's a thing.
Clue.
Maybe he's like part. I don't know. But I always thought that he was not like... I thought it was just a gimmick.
I don't know. I really feel like that with this whole thing, right? That they...
my point was they're paying Goldberg a lot of money, so they're also not just going to put him with like, oh, let's just have him crush Ricochet.
No doubt about it. But what I'm saying is, it's like that's not fair to the individual who's been holding the show.
Oh, of course not. But like, nothing's been fair. Nothing they ever do is fair.
McIntyre deserves to be a champion for much longer. And again, we're not saying like this is definitely going to happen, but the likelihood of it happening is more or less there, you know?
Yeah.
So the issue that I'm having with this is mainly it's just I know life's not fair and I know it's whatever, but you got to give the person credit who has been carrying the show since this whole thing started. Mm-hmm. And let him pay his due. Like, he's paid more than enough his dues.
Well, just once. How many times have I said it? About this show? just once, I'd like them just to go into WrestleMania or WrestleMania season with what they got and just see what happens. Don't bring in The Rock. Don't bring in Triple H. Don't bring in Batista. Don't bring in Goldberg. Don't bring in The Undertaker. Just go with the roster you have. Put together the best card you possibly can and see what you got. All they know are just fake inflated numbers from just idiots that are like, oh, Goldberg's, I'll pay $50 for that. It's like, see what you got. Put some effort into promoting a competent product and building characters that people can get into and see what you have at WrestleMania.
But they're not
Put all
confident.
your cards into those people
They're not,
and see
though.
what I know they're not.
They're not. They're
I
not
know they're
confident
not.
in the roster, and it looks very, very bad for
They
them.
haven't been confident in the roster in years. I can't remember the last time they didn't do some gimmicky bait and switch, like probably since not even 2009, because there's no they did have that was that Legends match, Roddy Piper, Snuka, and Ricky Steamboat versus Jericho, but that was it. 2009 was like, they didn't bring in a whole bunch of legends for that one. I mean, granted, the Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, they were legends, but they were still active at the time.
I have a question for
That's
you.
key.
This is going to sound very random, but I promise you there is relevance. What do you think John Cena thinks of all this?
I don't think he thinks of it at all. I think he's doing his movies, and I don't think he thinks about it anymore.
So you're sitting here saying that.
I don't think John Cena is watching the show.
No, not saying that. But do you think though that there's somebody like him, who, right? He has a match last year at WrestleMania, but
That wasn't a match.
no, it was a movie. But do you think something like COVID, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the way that things have been happening, and with the downward spiral the company's been going in.
Creative downward spiral. Only on
Right.
Raw, though. SmackDown's actually pretty good.
Do you think someone like John Cena is more inclined to be like, I don't want to be part of this for this
Oh,
year,
yeah.
right?
Honestly, like, he's got to follow The Rock's playbook. Where it's like, if you want to be serious in Hollywood, the very last thing that you should be doing is messing around with fake fighting. Men's ballet. That's the last. Rock was gone for years. His agent didn't want him anywhere near the company.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't want him anywhere near it.
Right.
He wouldn't mention the company in interviews. And that's how you built that really great feud with John Cena and The Rock. Oh, you gave up on us.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
John Cena's got to just, you want to be taken seriously. You want to get move to the next level. And he really is. I mean, if you look at the roles that John Cena's getting, wow. He's gonna wind up being the second biggest actor to come out of WWE, other than The Rock. Batista's definitely there.
Mm-hmm.
Batista's definitely there. Actually, if you look at
Guardians,
if you look at Batista's box office earnings, he's up there as in the movies that he's been in. Like in terms of box office, with the Avengers movies and the Guardians of the Galaxy, he's up there. Just those couple movies really just pushed him up.
James Bond, yeah.
But he's been in starring vehicles. But John Cena's gonna be bigger. He's gonna be way bigger. Batista got on a little too late. Batista's already in his 50s.
Right.
Or close to it.
Right.
But John Cena is early 40s.
That, my question, why I brought that up is because, again, I think you rely on somebody, like in the conversation we're having, like they rely so heavily on people of the past, and I'm not going to sit here and say like John Cena's a legend because he's still technically like active, you know what I mean? And like he's not, it's just not where he is in his career with that. You can't call him that, but like I think this is gonna deter someone like him to be like, maybe I won't participate in WrestleMania this year. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if I saw that, I would almost have to be like, I'm doing a huge freaking favor if I show my face on this show at this point.
Yeah.
Like it's almost.
He's
It's
too
almost
big.
like a little embarrassing.
Well, not even that, but he's just too big for this show. He's too big for it. Like John Cena is like he can't just go back to being John Cena the wrestler.
No.
He's graduated from it. It's like The Rock can never come back and have a run with WWE again. You know, like his last run in 2013. What do you have, like 2 matches? And it was just like, you know, he wasn't on the show every week. That's what he's going to wind up doing. It'll be like, you know, like a not even a Brock Lesnar deal. You know, he wouldn't even show up as often as Brock Lesnar.
That's what I'm saying.
He shouldn't, but he shouldn't show up at all. There's nothing, you know, it's like what Triple H was talking about in his stupid promo tonight, where it's like, you know, there's nothing in it for me. There's nothing in it. Literally, there's nothing in it for John Cena to come back to WWE. He doesn't need the money.
No.
And he doesn't need to wrestle anymore. Mm-hmm. John Cena did everything and then some for this company. He even, I don't have proof of it. I don't have proof of this, but I firmly believe that he put his Hollywood aspirations on hold for maybe another year or two so they could start building somebody up to take his place.
Oh, I 100%
He put his all into trying to get Roman Reigns over. He was waiting for Roman Reigns to get over. He hung on until it was just like, look, John, you're either going to take your shot or you're going to play fucking, you know, stretchy pants fake fighting for the rest of your life. You got to make a choice. And he made his choice, and it was correct. It was correct. It was the right choice to go to Hollywood and get out of this. But he gave them so much time. You know, John Cena was, you remember that SmackDown in 2012, right before WrestleMania 28. Me and Victoria went to SmackDown taping in Newark, and it was a SmackDown. Raw. John Cena was on Raw at the time. John Cena was over. He was doing some kind of walk-on movie role or something like that. He was in Ohio or something like that earlier in the day, and he took a plane from like Ohio or somewhere else in the Midwest to Newark to face Zach. Who did he face? I think it was Kane. I think he faced Kane.
He faced Kane
in a cage match for the dark match on a SmackDown in Newark. He literally left the set, got on a plane, flew to Newark, and showed up to do a dark match. That guy did more than his fair share. John Cena carried that fucking flag. You can't ask for any more from him. You can't. So there's no reason to bring him back. You know, Goldberg, he needs the money. His career is not going to like ever direct toward Hollywood. The best he could do is like the History Channel with that car show or whatever. You know, like the guys that are coming back are the ones that need it.
Yeah.
Or
I agree.
Don't have anything else.
I definitely agree with you.
Brock Lesnar doesn't need it. We might never see him again.
No. I think this is going to be a big game changer because what they relied on heavily, they can't do anymore.
Right, which is legends. There are no more legends, like literally that can do a big match. And I don't think Goldberg can do a big match either. Goldberg can only do spear, jackhammer, spear, and then maybe he'll take a Claymore kick and that'll be the end of it, or whatever it is, or he'll just spear him to death and
the match
pin
won't
him.
last very long.
No, it's not designed to be a match or anything like that.
It's not. It's designed to be this quick little just.
And you can get by on that. You can get Undertaker. You know, toward the end was doing greatest hits matches. You know, he tried to do a little more, and that's where he would get, you know, geeked up.
Yeah.
But for the most part, he just did, you know, the greatest hits of the Undertaker, Mark Calloway, and called it a night. You know, it's like.
Yeah.
But after this, after Goldberg, after his deal is up, I think we got another year, so we have 4 more matches with Goldberg that we have to suffer through. And I'm not even trying to say suffer through. Like Goldberg's he's a good dude. I know he's a good human being, but I honest to God, I have nothing against Bill Goldberg. It's just an indictment on the company. It's an indictment on the company that they fucking are relying on him to you know,
when they don't need to.
Number one, like why are they even so this is actually shows a little something scary for the rest of the year, because you would think, well, Jesus Christ, you know, right now, there's no one in the arenas, you know, like you know, and we're not gonna have arena shows anytime soon. Even with the vaccine rolling out, we're not gonna be in an arena anytime soon. Maybe in the fall, though. Maybe in the fall.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe, just maybe, you want to save Goldberg's, you know, 2 matches for the year for like a really big show, like a big comeback show in November or something like that. Mm-hmm. You know,
But there's
it shows that that maybe they think that there's not going to be an arena show this year if they're already blowing their load on Goldberg.
But here's the thing, though, they're not. What was I gonna say? In reference to what you just said about Goldberg coming back, and if he were to like you want to put
Hold it off.
hold it off now. It will come back to me.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about this disaster that is the Ric Flair storyline. What the what was the name of the girl that you know when she died they were trying to figure out, you know, whose baby was it was like between the lawyer, Zsa Zsa Gabor's husband and some other guy.
I don't
she was the
know.
Playboy bunny, you know, Pamela, not obviously not Pamela Anderson, but the other one. What was her name?
I don't know. I actually don't know what you're talking about.
The one
No, I don't know who you're talking about.
you don't know who I'm talking about. She was like the biggest shit. She had her own reality show. Tammy Lynn, Pamela Lee,
Oh, no,
Nicole,
oh my God, why am I blanking?
Anna Nicole Smith,
Anna
right?
Nicole Smith, yes.
Anna
Yeah,
Nicole
yes. Oh my
Smith.
God, I really, I gotta be honest with you, that wasn't the best description.
Nafis goes Katie Vick. Thank you, Nafis. I needed that. Nafis has better writing than anything that was on this fucking show tonight. Okay, so they're trying to like make Lacey Evans into Anna Nicole Smith, going for the old husband and just to get ahead or whatever.
So stupid.
Like, what the? Why is this happening? How is this even? Who is this helping? Number one,
Nobody.
nobody.
Again, nobody.
It makes
Central theme of the evening.
The
Nobody's
only
helping.
thing it can do is just make Lacey Evans look like, you know, some stinky girl that just goes after old men so she can get ahead or whatever. But like, it's the most fucking random thing on earth. It's the most random fucking thing on earth. It makes no sense.
I don't like this notion.
And how is it helping Charlotte as a face?
Not helping
as a
at
face.
all.
She gets in her dad. You know, like everybody loves Ric Flair, and then she's getting in his face. Like, first of all, Charlotte Flair is one of the worst. Like, I love Charlotte Flair. I think everybody knows my credentials on Charlotte Flair are very, very strong. They're very, very strong. But the way they book her, she's the worst fucking face I've ever seen in my entire life. She's the worst.
She's not a good face at all.
She's horrible.
She doesn't need.
It's not her fault. The shit that they book for her is terrible.
Because
Horrible.
anytime she's ever been a face, the storyline is
Oh,
just
it's a
it's not
disaster.
there. It's not
a
there.
disaster.
I don't like the whole notion, and again, this is like the feminist in me too. You know, I think if you're gonna have like a story, I mean, I get the idea of the storyline. Like, again, yeah, she's flirting and she's trying to like get ahead by flirting with.
Did you just
an
try to
older
say you're a
man,
feminist?
You know. What?
Did you just try to say you're a feminist?
I'm a little not. I'm not like a.
You're not a. You're the
I'm
worst
not like
feminist
a-
I've ever seen in
I'm
my
not
life.
like a true blue feminist. What I'm saying is the wanting women to build up women.
Yes.
The revolution in me,
Sure.
like the person in the individual. So yes, I am gonna say like the feminist in me.
Okay. The
You know,
tiny feminist.
The tiny feminist in me. I don't like this idea of like flirting your way to the top type thing, and I feel like that storyline is just so played out. Like, you know, obviously that happened in the Attitude Era, you know what I mean, like when anybody was flirting with Vince McMahon or whatever, you know what I mean, like stuff like that. But I just don't, for somebody like Ric Flair, it's just so stupid. And you know, I really don't like them how they make the connection between Charlotte and Ric Flair. It's like, just be done with it. Again,
that's
she
another thing
doesn't
that just
need-
feels so forced.
It just feels forced because, again, somebody like Charlotte Flair doesn't need to rely on her father because she, in her own
I know
right,
they just
is-
can't let it alone.
They can't. No, they can't. And I'm sure. I gotta be honest with you. I'm sure she's very much annoyed with it. Like,
Of course.
I
It's
gotta do
like,
another.
oh God, I gotta give my dad
another-
more airtime.
Right,
he
you
had
know?
he
And
had
that's
his
it.
moment in the sun.
And
It's
listen,
over.
It's not that, you know.
It's
whatever.
over.
Obviously, she loves.
Leave
her
it
fa-
alone.
Obviously, she loves her father.
course.
Obviously, she.
Everybody loves
You know, whatever,
Ric
and
Flair.
everybody loves Ric Flair, absolutely. But what I'm saying is, it's like it again. Charlotte Flair has built up her own reputation, and she doesn't need her father to continue to. And in fact, these storylines are not helping her because you could tell she's actually genuinely just freaking annoyed by them. You know, and this is not helping Lacey Evans either. Sorry.
No. No Peyton Royce tonight either. But yeah, It's fucking just the dumbest shit you could possibly imagine. It's like think of like the dumbest shit you could possibly imagine, and then take this. Like it makes no fucking sense for Ric Flair to be coming out. He's not gonna be Lacey Evans' manager.
No.
And what does a feud with Ric Flair and Charlotte Flair give us?
Nothing.
We've seen it before.
We've seen it before.
Just go away. Stop it.
I actually don't like any time that, like, you know, she's turned heel and she's went against her dad and things like that, you know, yes, at first when it initially happened, it's like, oh, okay, like, she's making a stance for herself, like, that's cool, you know, whatever, and standing up to dad and being like, I don't need you, and blah, 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 but this shtick has happened so many times now, it's unnecessary.
So it's like they just can't leave well enough alone.
No.
It's like, you know, the Hurt Business has to face, you know, Cedric, Apollo Crews and Ricochet for months and months and months on end with nobody getting ahead. It's just like the Ric Flair thing can never end.
No.
Like they really, like, he does make a difference, but
Again,
you keep showing him he's not going to make the difference
No,
anymore.
'cause then
He'll
he's
just
gonna
be
become-
part of the
it's just part
furniture
of it.
on Raw.
Yeah, and again,
And he can't do anything. It's not responsible. I still say it's not responsible to bring that guy out. Ric Flair is too fucking. He's still wild. I don't care what you say. He's a wild card, and it's irresponsible to bring him out into a situation where, you know, he's gonna, you know, who knows what he's gonna do. He'll go out to a bar one night or whatever and catch COVID, and with his health, it's not a good thing. You know,
No.
it's just they're just playing with fire.
They
Keep
are.
bringing this guy back and back and back. I love Ric Flair. I would love to see him on TV, but it's just not the right thing. It's just not the right thing.
You already kind of touched upon Jeff Hardy with Elias and Jackson Riker.
This is one image right here that I hope I never have to fucking look upon again. Let me just switch my thing over here. I hope I never have to fucking look at that again. Jackson
I agree
Riker,
with you.
number one in a match, number two being victorious, number three over Jeff Hardy.
It's Jeff Hardy. That's why.
Oh God! Like, it's like, okay, well, Jeff's at a certain age now. It's time to start beating him to
Yeah, it's
smithereens.
just, I mean, like I said, I was, and I know I keep going back to this, but I was genuinely shocked when I saw, like, Mickie James. I'm like, she's a legend now? Like, what the hell is
Oh, how sexist
when
is
the- like,
that?
when the
how
hell-
ageist and
She
sexist
looks-
is that? She looks
first of
better than some of the girls that are on right
she
now.
looks better than some of the girls now, and she looks better than even did when she first
Charlotte
got to the
Flair looks
company.
older than Mickie James.
Mickie James looks better now than she did when she first started.
Yes, she's in better. She's in great shape.
She looks super healthy. Her face looks beautiful, and she doesn't look like she got, like, worked on either. Like, I
No.
think she just is aging beautifully.
I think she's aging well. Yeah, she's aging really well, and she still has a lot to give.
That's what I'm
But just
saying.
because Vince doesn't like girls in their 40s, it's like, well, that's it for Mickie
That's it,
James.
that's
You're a
it.
legend
She's
now.
whatever.
You're a
That's
legend.
that irks me, like,
that
majorly.
that one bugs me. That one bugs me.
That was really bad.
Another thing that bugs me is Jackson fucking Riker being on TV. I know that they're shorthanded, but a 1-minute match against Jeff Hardy.
Yeah.
Number one, was that necessary?
No.
To have at all? We could have just had Elias and Jeff Hardy have a terrible match. Now we need to have
Now
two.
we have to, like,
now
really
we just have to
beat
have
it
two
into
terrible
you.
matches back to back. But number two, you know, Jackson Riker said some really shitty things and got removed from television for a long fucking time. Read the fucking room with this guy. You know, you have a bunch of lunatics that essentially spout the same shit that he was spouting, storming the United States Capitol. Does anybody really need to see fucking Jackson Riker on TV this week?
No.
Do we need to see that?
No, but look who Vince McMahon is.
He doesn't give a shit. He doesn't care. I mean, Linda McMahon, her super PAC donated to a bunch of those crazy, you know, fucking.
He's best friends. He's really good friends with our president.
I don't
I'm
get,
not. I'm
do
not bringing
get me
politics.
started on that
I'm not.
fuck.
No, I'm not bringing politics into it. I'm just saying, like, Vince doesn't know how to read the room, and he never will.
No, well,
He never will.
He thinks bad publicity.
I mean, look at
publicity
Lars
is good
Sullivan.
publicity.
Come on.
Well, Lars, look at Lars Sullivan. He hasn't been around months.
I know, but he will be back.
Sheamus and Keith Lee versus The Miz and John Morrison. Just because we have to just fill time on the show, it was a good match actually, and I really like the I really like this with the top turnbuckle coming off. Let me see if I can just pull that up for you real quick. I thought this was really a pretty neat spot right here. He crushes John Morrison. The turnbuckle comes off. That was pretty great. I like that, and I'm probably gonna get clipped for that for whatever fuck reason, but whatever. it was a fun match. They worked hard in it, and then after that, like this is where I was like, man, I can really see that they are just writing the show
They're
as
going off
they
the
go.
rails, yeah.
Keith Lee versus Sheamus immediately after that. They really didn't do much teasing before the commercial break, and then they come back and just like, okay, now pretend to argue and have a match, and it was good. You know me, I'm a sucker for hard hitting matches, and they were just beating the smithereens out of each other. I mean, Keith Lee was just crushing Sheamus with chops, crushing him, and then Sheamus was crushing him with calf kicks to the head. You could literally see Keith Lee's head bouncing and eating those calf kicks. It was a sight to behold. It really was. It was a fun match. I guess what they really want to do is get Keith Lee to have his steam back, and they had them hug at the end. And just in case Drew McIntyre is off for an extended period of time, I guess they want to build Keith Lee up a little bit. But man, like if they're gonna do Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre at some point, Sheamus has got to get on a bit of a streak. Or the reason that they are that they're doing this right now is that Sheamus is going to say, like, I'm done being a second fiddle to you, and it's time for me to start being me or whatever.
Right.
Either way, Sheamus is in good shape.
There's a few options that definitely could take place.
Sheamus is in good shape.
Mm-hmm.
I did like that. That was probably like if there's anything that I enjoyed on the show, it was probably that tag match and the Keith Lee Sheamus match.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else stunk. Drew McIntyre, his promo was, about Goldberg was meh. It was okay. I feel bad for him. It's like and they have him working. He's recording promos for them, so that's good that he's able to do that. That's a good thing that he's able to do that. I thought his message about COVID that they hid away after the first segment didn't tell you that it was coming. Like they told you that the promo about Goldberg was coming later, but his addressing the COVID thing, they kind of like hid that away a little bit.
Of course they did.
But I thought that was the better message. I thought that was a really good promo and something that people need to hear. Not enough people are wearing their masks and not following social distancing guidelines. And Drew McIntyre, the WWE champion, hopefully never know, can make a difference. You never know.
Well, I like the fact that he said, even though I'm asymptomatic, I'm going to I'm going to quarantine. Not that, he wasn't going to. I'm not saying that. But the fact that he said that, it's a real thing. Like, yeah. I'm very fortunate that my symptoms are mild or I have none right now. But, that's not for everybody. That's not everybody in this world. So.
Brian mentions that Keith Lee looks like he's aged 10 years since he's been on Raw. I agree. He actually looks like he's going bald. He has bags under his eyes. He's not looking good. He's not having a good time. You can tell he's not exactly living the dream that everybody claims WWE is. It's a dream job.
So what's funny is
it is if you don't care about career advancement or anything like that. Like if you're just happy, I'll just show up and I'll get a paycheck if I'm on Raw. Good. If I'm in chasing around the 24/7 segment, hey, that's cool. But if you're not okay with that, you're going to have a big fucking problem. This is going to become a nightmare very quickly. Most people that leave WWE don't have bad feelings, like Retribution. They haven't really talked a lot of shit about it. Like, the late John Huber, he had nothing bad to say about WWE whatsoever. And his wife even said, like, he had no ill feelings at all. He had a lot of friends over there and they gave him a living and he just felt that he could do more. It's not always like sour grapes.
No, not everybody believes.
But it's not the dream job at this point anymore that everybody thinks it is. That you can't get over. If you do get over by accident, they take it away from you. It's not a dream job anymore.
So I'm wearing Snooki. Again, this is relevant. I'm wearing Snooki shop clothes right now, and the reason why I bring her up because the fact that you said like this is not a dream job. JWoww's boyfriend Zach Clayton.
Oh, I don't want to talk about that guy. I hate that guy. What do you want to say about him?
I'm just saying, like, he
cares.
Never mind. I'm not saying it.
What is it?
No, I don't want to talk anymore.
What is it?
I don't want to talk anymore.
Just say it.
No.
Say it.
Nope. I'm done.
Zach Clayton. What did he do? What does he want?
Nothing.
Just finish it. Come on, say it.
No, I'm saying that, like, he kept flip-flopping back and forth like WWE, but now he's like...
Well, it's because he just wanted to be part of it.
No, I know.
He's not good enough.
But what I'm saying, now he's literally more like leaning towards with AEW.
Oh, yeah, because they let him wrestle on Dark once. Ooh, wow, cool.
Just saying.
ay. T-Bar versus Xavier Woods. I guess without Ricochet there tonight, they had to beat somebody, and Xavier Woods has no tag partner. And look what Eric's doing since Ivar's been gone. Xavier Woods be lucky if Kofi Kingston's gone for an extended period of time if he doesn't wind up in the 24/7 slog. What was the point of Riddle beating Bobby Lashley last week just to get murdered tonight by Bobby Lashley and then murdered by MVP after?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't like the Riddle character is so annoying to me and just like the exact opposite of something that could conceivably get over. It just is. He fucking irritates everybody on the screen. And they're all faces. Most of them walk away from him where they're like, I don't understand what the fuck you're talking about. And he annoys the people that are watching it. Like I'm like, what the fuck? Like, oh yeah, this is what I want. Like RVD when he would do the stoner thing would be fun, but he could still be serious. Like they just make everybody has to be a character, and the characters are so one dimensional. They can only do one thing. Matt Riddle can only be, talking after having his head in a cloud of smoke and fucking talking about pizzerias and cheese and donuts and bro nuts and bro, you're Brotoria and I'm Bryke and we are the Brodescos and bro isn't that fucking bro funny, right? It's like, shut the fuck. That's it. That's all you got. That's it.
Matt Riddle, well, he really irritates me, but again,
no, he's like the definition of like they're one-sided characters or one-dimensional characters. That's it.
Vince thinks it's funny. He laughs. It happens. That's exactly why. Because Vince thinks that
that's why chair shots are bad.
Everyone's gonna laugh at the stoner guy.
That's why chair shots are bad.
Bro.
Vince took one too many chair shots in his 50s, and it's like your brain doesn't recover as fast as it would if you were in your 20s and 30s. So there's obviously some CTE damage there from multiple chair shots in the Attitude Era, because if he thinks that's fucking funny, get evaluated. Seriously.
You know what he finds funny.
I know he does. You know what I find funny? It's like when they tease when they said, oh, we're gonna get AJ Styles versus Drew Gulak. I was like, oh wow, finally we'll get like something solid on this show. We'll get something solid in the third hour. That was funny. That was a humdinger.
Can you calm down, please?
That was a humdinger.
Can you just calm down? Thank you. Take it down a notch. Take it down a few pegs.
AJ Styles versus Drew Gulak. They could have taken the same amount of time they had, which is about 4 minutes, and put on a solid match. Instead, almost just takes the most fucking choreographed step. Like, oh God, it's like a cartoon. It's a cartoon. And it's not even a good cartoon. It's a bad looking cartoon. It looks stupid. I'm not gonna lie. I went upstairs during the Nia Jax Tamina, what the fuck's her name? Shayna Baszler. They look the same. Tamina's brother, and versus Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke. I went upstairs for a second just because Jesus, like I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. Like I came down halfway through the match. I was like, well, it's going exactly how I thought it would. But I was upstairs and I just heard this promo that Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke were cutting. And I was like, man, wow, listening to it from the other room. Like, I can't imagine if I lived with somebody who didn't watch wrestling and they heard what I was watching from the other room. And like listening to that, they'd be like, he's watching the worst television show ever. I'm done giving the TV to this fuck for 3 hours every Monday night. That sounded so robotic. It was horrific when they're talking together. Neither of them have any passion for what they're doing right now. Mandy Rose had a hot storyline at the beginning of the year. They fired the writer who wrote her storyline. There was no conclusion to it, not even a denouement, nothing. There was no closure to that whatsoever. And now she's stuck in this nothing fucking tag team with Dana Brooke, who's a nothing wrestler. I'm sure she's a great person. She works really hard. She even says it in her promos. I work really hard. Like, okay, you get a gold star. What the fuck does that mean?
I work really hard too at mine.
I work really hard. Okay, you worked really hard. You can get a gold leaf, pure leaf. What does it mean? What does that mean? I give you the pure leaf. Okay, now you're a big shot. You're a big shot now. Okay. Oh, you worked really hard. Big deal. Mandy Rose looks like Sasha Banks did when they would tell Sasha Banks, okay, tonight you're gonna go out and lose. And then she would wear it on her fucking face. Like Mandy Rose knows that this is a nothing tag team. It's going nowhere. And unfortunately, she doesn't have the experience that says, well, you got to put your all even into the nothing shit, because eventually you might get something that you can sink your teeth into, and they don't want to look at you as like, oh, well, she didn't put her all into the shit storyline, so we're not going to give her anything else.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. You have to.
It sounded so boring and lifeless. It felt like I was listening to the fillet of fish from McDonald's that would sing the fillet of fish. It's just like a dead fish on a board cutting a wrestling promo. That's what it sounded like. What do you want to say?
No, I agree with you. It really, I'm in a catch-22 position where I feel bad for them, but I do agree with you where they definitely need to, like, I know it's really hard, but if this is your job, like, you have to fake it till you make it. You know what I mean? Like, you have to pretend this is the best storyline that they ever given you in your entire life.
I don't feel it.
I hate to say it.
It certainly isn't.
No, it's not
certainly
at
isn't.
all. And that's why I do feel bad for them for sure. But, if you are not a seasoned individual and you don't have the opportunity to say, like, not a lot of people have that relationship where they can say, like, oh, I'm not doing this or whatever, or I don't think this is the direction my character should go in. Let's face it. Not a lot of people really feel comfortable doing that, but you do. If you're kind of like new-ish, Mandy Rose has been there for like a little bit of time now. You have to pretend that this is like you're super passionate about it, and you have to. But I get where, as an individual, it's hard when you're really not passionate about it, and you have to sit through and you have to really fight that way. But it really is like either way, you're not really winning with yourself because you feel like, oh,
right.
I'm not advancing to anything, but I also don't want to lose any opportunities because I'm not putting all my effort into something either.
Right.
So it's a hard position to be in for sure.
Brian came up with a good idea here. We should have the Pure Leaf Wrestler of the Week on the show.
Let's do it.
That's a good gimmick. I like that.
We'll give credit.
We need some gimmicks on this show.
Let's do gimmicks.
Other than the pie in the face, of which we will bring that back for
it's the Rumble,
right? For the live post Raw night after Rumble. So we might just do that.
I know everyone's like, oh, I want to see you get pied for the sake of getting pied. I want to like earn it though. I don't want to just like pie you because
it's so hard. It's so hard. Vincent DiGirolamo, he goes, make that 2 Vinces that think Riddle is funny.
I don't get it.
He's Vin. And Vince McMahon thinks it's funny, so he's saying that he thinks it's funny too.
Oh, okay. I didn't get it at first.
Vance, you motherfucker.
Vance, you're grounded.
You're grounded. You think Riddle's funny? You're grounded, you motherfucker. Scum of the earth. Prick of the earth bastard. Anyway, so this fucking show sucked. I think we can conclude on that.
How many ranks did you have tonight?
Triple H versus Randy Orton, just the bait and switch Memphis booking, just leading to Alexa Bliss shooting a fucking fire. Like, what else can we do? It's like they've given up on writing a wrestling show and like they're trying their hand at, oh, well, it's a horrible show, so let's make it a horror show. That's what we'll do. You think it's horrible. No. It's a horror show.
It's not Halloween anymore. WWE.
It's not the 90s anymore either. And they are way, way past their peak. And they used to say that wrestling's cyclical. It would get hot and cold, hot and cold, hot and cold. I haven't seen a hot I haven't seen a hot streak in this company. Maybe, John Cena 2007, 2008, he was hot. 2005 he was hot. But nothing extended since then. It's just been, a couple little dashes on the screen, but for the most part it's just been flatlined.
What's Vincent DiGirolamo saying? National
Championship game was on, so they packed it in. Yeah.
Yeah.
He might be right.
No, he's right.
But
now what's he saying?
But with Drew McIntyre getting COVID, there's going to be a curiosity bump. There certainly is. And they could have taken advantage of that and done something worthwhile. And they tried. They took their shot. They did Triple H versus Randy Orton to try to get people to watch. And it just, you do these hot shot angles and you get diminished returns each and every time. I had almost no interest in it. It's like, maybe people are going to buzz about it. Maybe they're not. Triple H versus Randy Orton in 2021. It's not going to do it anymore. You have to start building up some new talent. You really, really do. And you have to figure out a way to not overexpose the piss out of them. Beg, it'll hurt in the short term. It really will. It's going to hurt in the short term. If they were to drop this third hour on the USA Network, it's going to hurt. There's no fucking question about it. It's not going to be good. They like that advertising money. USA likes it because USA, again, you want to talk about WWE having systemic problems. USA Network can't fucking find a show to get hot with to save their fucking lives. So they have WWE, which is the only show that people watch on this fucking network. Maybe you have straight up Steve Austin, which people will watch after Raw, and they'll get like a little bump from that. But endless reruns of cunting Chicago PD and NCI, whatever the fuck they're running right now. It's like they have nothing original on their television show. So of course they want to have Raw for 3 hours just to keep the party going longer. Let's just drag it out some more. But the best thing for USA Network and WWE is to drop that third fuck hour. It's gonna hurt in the short term, but if it'll keep you from overexposing every single one of your talents who aren't talented enough to be overexposed and survive, and it'll give you time to protect them and build them up nice and easy, and we can start trying to fix this fucking wagon before it's too late. Wrestling's dying in America. It just is. Oh, AEW's coming to save the town. It's going to be great. 1.4 to 1.6 million people watch AEW and NXT per week. That's it. And it fluctuates. Some weeks is 1.4, some weeks is 1.6. Never more than that. Even on a big week. That's it. That's the core wrestling audience. Because AEW's not building an audience. They're not expanding.
You made the list, by the way.
What list? What list?
My list.
What? For what? What'd I do?
You insulted.
Oh, fucking Ms. and Mrs. Go scratch. No way.
What? Will you stop? I'm your wife. How dare you speak to me
It's
like
a nice show. It's a nice show. It's not gonna save USA Network. They need another Monk. They need another Psych. Where's the next Monk and where's the next Psych? You think Chicago PD is the next Psych?
Chicago PD.
Chicago PD is the worst show I've ever fucking seen in my natural life.
I don't think Chicago PD is actually a USA Network show.
Well, no, but that's what they're running on their show as the lead into Raw.
You know what? USA Network would be the most ideal.
It's a horrible show.
It would be the most ideal network if it had Ms. and Mrs., 2 hours of Raw, and just Law and Order SVU marathons for all of eternity.
Yeah, I guess. But anyway, like the best thing, you'll see revenue go up because people will actually be tuning in. You won't need to fucking hide behind, oh, our social media engagement's really great. Our YouTube numbers are the best. It's like, no one fucking cares.
Hey.
No one fucking cares. That doesn't translate into money.
You're on the list, and that's the end of it.
It does translate into a little money. I'm not going to lie. YouTube numbers obviously are great for them, but they can make more. They're leaving money on the table by being insufferable cocksuckers that just want to beat you over the head with shit fucking wrestling.
Calm the hell down. Jeez.
All right, I'm calm. That's
Gosh.
it. That's it. The third hour's got it's killed this once proud brand. It's killed this once proud franchise.
God, it's killed your spirits.
Oh, that died a long time ago, my dear.
Get over yourself.
All right. Who would you say is the Pure Leaf Wrestler of the Week for Monday Night Raw, if you can even think of one?
Wait, Drew McIntyre because he has COVID.
Okay, yes. Drew McIntyre, we sincerely do hope that he gets better. Yeah, I'm gonna put Drew McIntyre as our first Pure Leaf Wrestler of the Week for Post Raw. Wow, you came in my screen right there. So it was like, your head was like disconnected from.
Wait, how do I do it?
Keep leaning. That was so weird. It's the weirdest thing ever.
No.
Ew, you look so weird. That was strange. Okay, somebody keep track of who we make the Pure Leaf Wrestler of the Week so we can know, because there's no way I'm going to be able to do this. Anyway, this show sucked. That's all I have to say. So, next week we will be back for Post Raw number 111, all 111. That's it. And then the week after that's the Go Home show to Rumble. And then it'll be the live Post Raw. Number 113.
We gotta get a sitter.
We do have to get a sitter for that one because that's gonna be a long show. But anyway, we want to say,
Oh God, why?
CJ goes, he's in before Lipton. That's good. Anyway, we want to thank everybody for sticking around with us and listening to me. I had a rough night. Obviously, I'm going to have to check my blood pressure later on when I get off this thing. But we thank everybody for hanging out with us. Thank you. This is our first real show of 2021.
Yeah, last week didn't count.
Last week doesn't count. So thank you again for everybody for coming out and listening to us. I hope you enjoyed the show. You know, it's like I rant in good fun. I don't really care that much about wrestling as much as I used to. Back in the day, wow, God, I can get even crazier. I've become more mellow in my older years.
It was mellow tonight?
No, maybe not. But anyway, we thank you so much. I'm Mike Tedesco of Wrestleview.com.
And I'm Victoria Tedesco.
We hope you have a great week, and we'll see you next week. Be well. Ciao.